Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by an actress, advocate, director, producer, politician, and former president of the Screen Actors Guild, and OG Half Pint. Her latest book is Back to the Prairie. We welcome Melissa Gilbert.
Hello there.
Melissa, let's go beyond the mic. Your husband, Timothy, says, quote, she doesn't have an iota of prairie in her, unquote. How has your life evolved from the Hollywood hustle and politics to the peace and quiet in the Catskills?
You know, I think life is just a constant journey and adventure, and you always have to be open to whatever is new. And at this point in my life, I required stillness and quiet. And through the pandemic, which is a lot of what I wrote about, through the pandemic, I really learned what's most important. And I wanted to lean into all of those things, into family, home, my own well-being, things that make me happy, like knitting or cross-stitching or little things, big things, building things. So that's sort of where this all kind of sprung from. And it became a book. And now it's a lifestyle line called Modern Prairie, and it's an app. So it's really grown and sort of in this really organic way, which I'm really enjoying.
Well, why did the pandemic quarantine help you and your family?
Well, I was already out of Los Angeles and had already made the decision that I came to the realization that I had to leave there in order to actually allow myself to age, because it's a very singular city, Los Angeles, because the industry is so prominent there. Sort of the best and the worst of the industry are there. And one of the worst things is this sort of external image conscious, you know, this sort of price they put on beauty and thinness. And it's almost impossible to maintain unless you spend so much time staring in a mirror. And I just didn't want to be that person anymore. And I tried, and it's just not me. And so when I met Tim, actually, he was living in Michigan at the time, and we fell in love. And he said to me one day, I'm really into you, but I live in Michigan. And I said, that's fantastic. Take me there. Get me out of Los Angeles. And so it started moving to Michigan.
You say in your book, quote, I had to stop in order to move forward, unquote. You have faced adversity in so many ways, and yet you stopped and you moved forward. Where did you get the strength and chutzpah to keep going?
I've always been basically a courageous person. Not a lot scares me. And if it scares me, I tend to do it to get over the fear. I've always pushed myself, which explains why I've had 3 spinal fusions as well. I had a dog that used to run so crazy and run into things. We called him the gung-ho puppy. And I'm a bit of a gung-ho puppy. So I have a lot of energy, but I also really have wanted to find this stillness in my life and figure out what I need at this point. What's important to me, what's most important to me. In the pandemic, for me, although very traumatic, in some ways, and for so many people, horribly traumatic, it was an opportunity for me to really unplug from everything and really focus on the things that matter. And I came out of that realizing what matters most is my family, my health, and my close friendships. Beyond that, I mean, when you can't get toilet paper, life has changed and priorities have changed.
OG Half Pint, Melissa Gilbert joins us beyond the mic for the Rockin', and it's time for 8 random questions, Melissa. All you have to do is answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is no pressure.
Okay.
What personality trait do you dislike the most?
Dishonesty.
Could you live without electricity for a week?
Yes.
And have you?
Yes.
Melissa, what's the best thing about your rescue dog, Chicago?
Her heart.
What is the most incredible thing you've tasted from your garden?
Cucumbers.
One thing that you want to pass on to your grandchildren?
Kindness.
What's the one thing in your morning routine you try to skip?
Washing my face.
What food is romantic to you?
Spaghetti bolognese. Don't know why.
In your book, Back to the Prairie, while trying to scare a bear away from your house, you get stung by a yellow jacket. Then recently, you were in the hospital from another sting. 1, are you better now? And 2, are you second-guessing nature?
1, yes, I am better. And 2, I'm now terrified of any insect. So I have this wonderful stuff called Proven. It's a DEET-free bug repellent, and it lasts 14 hours. It's made with picaridin. And I actually have a gel that I rub on every day on my ankles and my wrists and my arms and whatever skin's exposed. And hopefully I won't have to go to the emergency room because something bit me again.
It's time for one big question. With the OG Half Pint, from Little House on the Prairie, Melissa Gilbert, be on the mic. Melissa, as former president of the Screen Actors Guild, what are your thoughts on the Writers Guild strike? Why is this important for creators everywhere?
Well, it's really important that the residual stream reflect the work that's put in. And it's time for the studios and networks to ante up. I mean, they have a bit of a PR problem when we see what their CEO salaries are. And it's exorbitant. The rest of us in the entertainment industry, all of us are basically gig workers. We work job to job. If you're on a television series, you're blessed, but it's not going to last your whole life unless you're Mariska Hargitay. And so having those residuals is key. And the residual stream on SVOD, on straight to video and cable and all of that, or on streamers, is really vital. Also, creative rights are important. Those need to be dealt with. And these are issues the writers are singular. Some of them are singular to writers. The directors, though, have come out with a deal. And the deal looks pretty lucrative and incredible. I haven't parsed it out yet. So I will sit down with that contract when my husband gets it and I get it, because we're both in the DGA. But I'm very excited to see that the studios and networks are willing to move a bit. So I'm hopeful that they'll do the same for Screen Actors Guild and then come back to the writers, or SAG-AFTRA, I should say, and come back to the writers.
So are you scared about AI?
Yes. Listen, all technology scares me. I'm just not a techie. I can't do it. I'm learning, but it's a learning curve. And I just, when I'm so easily hooked by a spam text from fake Chase Bank, AI is going to mess with me. And it makes me very, very nervous. And also, I've seen the Terminator movies. I'm aware of Skylink. You got to be an idiot.
She wants to pass kindness on to her grandchildren, loves her rescue dog's heart, and wants you to read her book, Back to the Prairie. Melissa Gilbert, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you. This was delightful.
And that, my friends, is...
Thanks, Sean.
A Beyond the Mic shortcut.